Today, we're discussing the red-orange complex that just won the coveted Ingredient of the Year award in the Beauty from Within category. Everybody wants to look their best these days, and comes from Sicily, Italy, from a company, one of our trusted suppliers, which is called BIONAP. What is the red-orange complex?
In 2 words, a powerhouse ingredient. But to be more specific, red orange complex is actually a standardized powder extract made from 3 Sicilian blood oranges. And what we found through studies is that the phenolic compounds and also the ascorbic acid allows red orange complex to have a multi-benefit potential, such as reducing oxidative stress, improving quality of life of individuals, just to name a few.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the NatureCity Podcast. I'm your host, if you haven't been here before, Carl Pradelli. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of the company, having started NatureCity over 20 years ago with my wife, Beth. And since then, we've had the honor of serving over 500,000 Americans by offering them the best supplements we can make. Today, we're discussing a supplement ingredient that just won the coveted Ingredient of the Year award in the Beauty from Within category, which is probably maybe the hottest category in supplement world. The award came from NutraIngredients USA, and it's called the Red-Orange Complex, and it comes from Sicily, Italy, from a company, one of our trusted suppliers, which is called BIONAP. Here to discuss the Red-Orange Complex with us, we are joined again, welcome back to the podcast, Jodi-Ann Blackwood. How are you, Jodi? Jodi-Ann?
Thank you for having me, Carl, and thank you for that congratulatory message. We are very proud and honored to have our NutraIngredients award here. Yes, for the category of Beauty from Within. So we won Ingredient of the Year for 2025. So we're greatly honored, and I'm honored to be here with you again to discuss BIONAP and our amazing ingredients. So thank you.
Of course. You know, I'm sure that was probably one of the most competitive categories among the awards here, because are you seeing it too? I mean, the Beauty from Within category seems to be exploding.
It is. And, I think it speaks to the consumers as well and their focus on purchasing high quality finished products with amazing ingredients that have this great quality, great science, such as our red orange complex. So very competitive indeed.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's everybody wants to look their best these days, especially when they're doing video things like this, or on their phones with their friends, on their cameras. Everyone's trying to look their best. So it doesn't matter if you're 20. My age, 60, 80, 90, everyone's trying to look a little better, which is driving, I think, the category. Okay, so we'll discuss a little bit more about the award and why you think you guys prevailed later. But first, what is the red-orange complex?
In 2 words, a powerhouse ingredient. That would best summarize red orange complex. But to be more specific, red orange complex is actually a standardized powder extract made from 3 Sicilian blood oranges. So that's the Moro, the Torrico, and the Sanguinello variety of blood oranges. And what we found through studies, we have 8 clinical studies, is that the phenolic compounds and also the ascorbic acid allows red orange complex to have a multi-benefit potential. So yes, it is an amazing ingredient for Beauty from Within, but it also has other benefits that we found through these clinical studies, such as reducing oxidative stress, improving quality of life of individuals, just to name a few.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure we'll get to those in a moment. But what is it? Look, we have oranges here in Florida, right? But they can't do what the red orange complex can do. What makes these Sicilian blood oranges so unique and potent?
Yes, so the blood oranges are a bit different from a typical Navelina orange or a table orange. Blood oranges across the globe are known for, their highly pigmented flesh, their beautiful taste, that rich color within. And one thing that we've found with these Sicilian blood oranges is that the land of Sicily has such a unique influence on them and their potency. where these blood oranges are grown in Sicily are on our farmlands, which is a protected area surrounding Sicily's Mount Etna volcano. Mount Etna has this unique influence in terms of constantly spewing ash into the atmosphere, which makes its way to the soil and influences the plants and fruits grown in the soil, in this rich soil of Sicily. So that is one way that Sicily influences these plants and fruits and influences red orange complex. But Mount Etna also has its own microclimate. So it will have warm days, cold nights, and the plants and fruits have to thrive to,
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like because of the extremes in temperature and the climate, they need to protect themselves.
Yes.
The way they do that, I think, is by, essentially storing more antioxidants and more flavonoids in their flesh, in the case of the oranges, and just to stay alive. Does that sound right?
That's exactly what happens, Carl. So if you compare the Sicilian blood oranges to its counterparts grown across the globe, you'll find that the composition of actives is much different. There's a higher percentage of actives found in the Sicilian blood oranges.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Mount Etna, and these oranges grow in the shadows of the volcano, and it's an active volcano for those who don't know. Probably I think it's the largest active volcano in the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
And that just creates this incredibly mineral rich and rich soil that surrounds, the area in Sicily, which, as you pointed out, is one of the reasons these oranges are much more potent than, say, Florida oranges or regular oranges, and even other blood oranges, I think.
Yes, for sure.
It's funny. I don't know if this was a new video or something older, but it came up on my feed. I think it was on X the other day, where all these tourists were running down the mountain, the volcano, Mount Etna, because they were there taking pictures and the volcano starts spewing, right?
I saw that as well.
Did you see that? But it's like, get out of keep going. People are stopping now to take the videos and pictures, get selfies. It's like, you see a volcano erupting, you better just hightail it out of there. You shouldn't be taking pictures and stuff like that. So, but I think it's almost every day it is erupting. Is that
very frequently? Yes, very frequently. So it's constantly spewing ash into the atmosphere and influencing the land constantly.
Yeah. So what? I've been following the red orange complex story for probably close to 10 years now. Mm-hmm. Do you know? I know this is probably before your time, but what sparked the idea for the red orange complex?
Yes, it was definitely before my time. So this was actually the ingredient that we were founded upon. BIONAP was founded in 1997. And our founder, Professor Bonina, he was instrumental in the science behind the blood oranges. A lot of the ingredients within our portfolio are made from plants and fruits that are known throughout Mediterranean folklore to have these amazing health benefits. So he thought of studying the health benefits of the blood oranges and seeing how they would benefit beauty from within and also oxidative stress. So that was his inspiration behind delving into the science of the Sicilian blood oranges and thus making red orange complex.
No, it makes a lot of sense. You have these potent, not only oranges, I mean, just the fruits and vegetables there are just so rich and nutritious. It's great not only for regular dietary purposes, but also for supplement ingredients too. So one of the biggest challenges with keeping skin looking youthful as we age are environmental factors, such as sunlight exposure, air pollution probably being the top two, I would think. Mm-hmm. How does the red orange complex support the body's natural protection?
Well, what we found in our studies, as I mentioned before, we have 8 clinical studies. We actually conducted a study looking at how red orange complex supplementation would benefit someone who is subject to air pollution. So And in that study, we found that it was able to reduce the oxidative stress in these individuals. So, in terms of reducing the oxidative stress, the reactive oxygen species within the blood was reduced, of course, and other reactive free radicals within the body were reduced. And we were able to improve the glutathione levels in these individuals as well. So, red orange complex is able to not only, in these studies, we saw that it was not only able to reduce the short term, but also the long term effect of these conditions with the supplementation.
Right. And even though you're taking it from with, even though you're ingesting
Mhm.
the red orange complex, it still has the ability to help the body support the body's
Mhm.
natural protection in terms of
Yeah.
skin protecting itself
Yeah.
from, in this case, air pollution or exposure to sunlight, which results in a lot of free radicals that can cause oxidative stress
Mhm.
and damage the skin prematurely as we get older. So, and I think that's probably due because again to the potency where you have like these rich levels of was it the anthocyanins and other flavonoids that just allow the complex to be a lot stronger as an antioxidant than other similar
Sure.
plants and
Mhm.
botanicals.
And even for skin health, in our first study that we conducted, we were able to see its benefit on UV damage for the skin. So our first skin clinical focused on beauty from within. One of the results in that study, we were able to see a 40% reduction in UV-induced skin erythema. So red
Mhm.
orange complex supplementation is also able to inhibit skin damage caused by these UV rays.
Mhm. Right.
Mhm.
And of course, we're not suggesting it's a substitute for sunscreens or
Not at
anything
all.
like that, or just, but it does, it's a good example of how it can support the body's own natural, protection from, from light as well as like other environmental stressors, of course, like air pollution too. So Jodi-Ann, how much of the red orange complex have you found you need to take daily?
Just 100 milligrams. It's a very low dose ingredient. All of our studies have been conducted with the ingredient at 100 milligrams.
So it's and I think that just reflects the concentration of these different flavonoids and anthocyanins, including anthocyanins, I should say, that allow, offer this protection at what is a pretty low dose. 100 milligrams is not a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
So one of the studies with red orange complex for skin health was published not too long ago in the journal Nutrients. I was looking at the study recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that study and the results?
Yes. So our second clinical conducted on skin health, we shifted the focus a bit, not only to confirm what we already knew about its benefits for UV damage to the skin or its antioxidant ability, but also to see its benefits on anti-aging. So we looked at various anti-aging parameters. So this study, it was a placebo-controlled trial, randomized, of course, 110 healthy subjects, the age range 35 to 65. We also included two ethnic groups, so Caucasian and also Asian. And they were given 100 milligrams of the red orange complex for 2 months. So that was the length of the study, 2 months. So we looked at different parameters such as skin moisturization, elasticity, distensibility, wrinkle depth, depigmentation of dark spots, skin tiring. That was also a parameter that we looked at. And we saw statistically significant results in all of these parameters versus the placebo and also versus the baseline.
No, I mean that's a pretty impressive list. So starting out with the skin moisturization, hydration,
Mhm.
I guess when free radicals are attacking the skin, that's one of the first things that suffers really is skin hydration,
Yes.
which then results in greater appearance of wrinkles, more sagging skin. So you would expect probably that'd be one of the first benefits you see from the red orange complex. I mean, 2 months is not a long study. I mean, that's,
No.
I mean, you got results pretty quickly. So that's pretty impressive. But
Mhm.
it sounds like, did you find that like probably the skin hydration or moisturization benefits were probably among the strongest results that you saw of all of them?
Yes, Carl, for sure. I think when looking at skin moisturization, we also looked into transepithelial water loss, and we saw results as early as 2 weeks. So for skin hydration, there was an increase of 6% at 2 weeks and 12% at that 2 month mark. So it actually doubled at the end of the study. For the transepithelial water loss, we had a 3% reduction as early as 2 weeks. And at the end of the supplementation, we saw 14% reduction in transepithelial water loss. So, looking at the transepithelial water loss, that allows us to better understand the integrity of the skin barrier with red orange complex supplementation and its ability to retain moisture. So, those two parameters are the results are statistically significant versus the placebo. For the placebo group, we saw great reductions in moisturization and actually increases in water loss for the transepithelial water loss. So great results there in those parameters.
No, that's fantastic. And, you start to get significant results as soon as 2 weeks,
Mhm.
which is pretty quick
Yes.
for an ingestible supplement. Sometimes when you have topical applications, you can see results that quickly, but to get a significant result, in my opinion, anyway, in 15 days is pretty remarkable. And then it sounds like the results just continue to get better
Mhm.
over 2 months.
Yep.
Much better. But I was wondering, do you guys plan to do any more work just to see what happens after like 2 months, a longer time frame?
I'm not sure. I know that we're constantly reinvesting and looking for new supporting science for our ingredients. This is one of our most studied ingredients, so
Yep.
it's possible that we will look into other applications for beauty from within and potentially longer effects of supplementation of red orange complex. But at this time, I can't confirm anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more of a curiosity thing because 2 months may not be the peak results, right? I mean, you may see, after 3 months or even longer, there may be some further benefits, especially,
Mhm,
especially for skin hydration, moisturization, which is really just so important.
mhm.
Skin elasticity, I think you mentioned, was another benefit.
Yeah.
And then wrinkle depth. Let me ask you for wrinkle depth. Did they measure like crow's feet around the eyes, or do you remember what they measure for wrinkle depth?
Yes. So what they did, they actually did look into crow's feet and wrinkle depth. So they monitored the deepest wrinkles, and we had
Mhm.
like a depiction of these participants. We looked at prior to supplementation, during supplementation, and also at the end of the study. And what we saw were reductions in those deeper, darker wrinkles on these individuals. So we had a 7% decrease in wrinkle depth on the treated group there versus the placebo.
Very nice. And did you mention, was there an effect on, dark spots like age spots?
Yes, yes. So we found that there was a depigmentation of the dark spots as early as 2 weeks as well. So a 14% decrease at 2 weeks and a 33% decrease after 2 months.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
strong. That's really strong.
Mhm.
One of the things you mentioned is that you looked at both, women. Was it all women, by the way?
No, so this was inclusive with men and women. So
Okay,
it's
good, perfect.
beneficial for both sexes.
That's great. But one of the things you did mention is you chose, people just Caucasian skin as well as Asians as well, which was really a really good idea because people can, different skin types can react differently. One of the things as I was looking at the study,
Mhm.
um, there wasn't there were similar results
Yeah.
in most of the categories for the Caucasian one versus I'm sorry, Caucasian adults versus the um, Asian adults.
Mhm.
The results seemed pretty much in line with each other. Was that your understanding too?
Yes, it was. Once reviewing the data and the different percentages in terms of improvements with the supplementation, um, the variations were very slight. In some groups, the Asian population maybe had a 0.2% increase over the Caucasian group or vice versa. The differences were not, it wasn't a huge difference. So
Yeah.
the overall population was monitored, and these are the results that I've shared with you as well.
No, that was my, looking at the numbers, that was my recollection also. So, which again is pretty impressive. I thought that
Yes.
it was that close. So, as we mentioned, one thing I'm really curious about. We mentioned that the Red Orange Complex was the recipient of the Beauty from Within Ingredient of the Year Award from NutraIngredients USA. Obviously, a very competitive category these days. I'm curious, what did the judges like about Red Orange Complex that put you over the top?
Yes, it was. The competition was tight. We had great competitors in this category. But I believe what set us over the edge of these competitors, the judges liked the science. As I mentioned, we have 8 clinical studies, but we also have 2 that are focused solely on beauty from within. So its benefits for anti-aging and supporting that skin health. So they like the science and the results of the studies. Also, the low dose, as I mentioned, just 100 milligrams, and individuals who supplement with Red Orange Complex are able to have these benefits in as early as 2 weeks. Also, our sustainability efforts. So, Red Orange Complex is actually obtained from oranges that would be otherwise discarded in the fruit and beverage market.
Mhm.
These oranges are purposefully grown for that market, to be consumed as a fruit. And what we've done is those that are blemished or would otherwise not be desired,
Right.
we've repurposed them and used them or use the juice of these blood oranges for the manufacturing of our ingredients. So they like that sustainability message that's with this ingredient and a lot of the ingredients within BIONAP's portfolio.
Yep.
Also, they like
Got it.
the strong commercial success of Red Orange Complex. We've been featured in lovely finished products such as your True New Grow Plus. And because of this, they really appreciated that strong commercial success and claims that we also have for this ingredient with Health Canada. So those were the parameters that just set us a bit above our competitors in that category.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the commercial success means that people want to pay money for it and like it, right?
Yes,
So,
and it works.
and it works. People don't want to buy things that don't work, right?
Exactly.
I know we covered the skin findings pretty thoroughly, but is there anything else that we overlooked that you may want to talk about in terms of skin health and beauty with the Red Orange Complex?
Um, I just want to state, the mechanism behind this ingredient in terms of benefiting the skin health and anti-aging. Red Orange Complex is a potent antioxidant. It has great anti-inflammatory activity. So, having the ability to increase these endogenous antioxidant defense mechanisms is what makes this ingredient such a great product.
Right. I know you mentioned enhancing glutathione levels in the body.
Mhm.
Glutathione being probably the most important antioxidant in the body. It's called the master antioxidant. So the fact it just shows that Red Orange Complex is really supporting the body in its constant battle against oxidative stress. So that is encouraging to see. But
Mhm.
antioxidant protection from free radicals doesn't just, benefit the skin, right? It matters
Right.
for the health and function really of our entire body.
Mhm.
So what's nice about the Red Orange Complex, my opinion, I think you might agree, is
Mhm.
that while it's helping you keep your skin hydrated, reducing wrinkle depth or age spot appearance, it can help in other ways, right? So another recent study that you published that I was reviewing said it may help offer women relief from certain menopausal symptoms. Can you tell us a little bit about those findings?
Yes. So our latest clinical that we conducted was another randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. The focus of that was on improving quality of life in adults, and also we looked at the benefits to menopausal symptoms in the women in this study. So it was 60 subjects, so male and female, but we looked at the menopause benefits for these women in the study for 2 months. So they were given 100 milligrams of red orange complex or the placebo for 2 months. For this study, we looked at various parameters associated with um, menopause. So we looked at hot flashes and sweating, um, joint and muscle pain, heart problems, physical fatigue, mental fatigue. We also looked at mental issues such as sleep problems and anxiety, feeling unhappy, nervousness, sexual problems, vaginal dryness, and urinary issues. And what we saw were statistically significant results as early as 2 weeks
Wow.
in the treated group versus the placebo and the baseline. So we saw great results with the menopause symptoms with red orange complex supplementation.
Which is really interesting because I'm not sure, many ingredients considered really targeting, antioxidants targeting oxidative stress really have produced, similar benefits, really targeting those areas you mentioned. Were these women, so this is postmenopausal women, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
the age range 45 to 60.
Okay.
That was the age range of the study.
Okay. So it was a combination of emotional health benefits, some help with hot flashes and sleeping.
Mhm,
You mentioned sexual health.
mhm.
That's pretty much, those are probably like the main challenges that women, postmenopausal women deal with. So sounds like you guys covered the gamut pretty well.
Yes, and we saw great results, great results as early as 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and I assume the benefits continue through the end of the study?
Yes, it did. So even more drastic reductions at the end of supplementation, at that 2 month end of supplementation.
Wow. Interesting. Did this study reveal anything else worth noting?
Yes, well, as I mentioned, we also wanted to see how red orange complex supplementation would impact the quality of life of these adults, so both male and female. And what we found in these subjects was it was able to improve the role limitation, their physical health, also emotional problems and emotional well being. They had improved energy, reduced fatigue. So, an overall improvement in general health domains for these individuals. So, Red Orange Complex is able to improve your quality of life, but also able to improve menopause symptoms in women experiencing these issues.
That's terrific. I know, as you mentioned, you've published, I think, 8 studies now, 8 human studies, I believe. Red Orange Complex. Do you have any other highlights worth noting before we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. I touched a bit on its ability to decrease oxidative stress, but we have conducted several clinicals on different individuals from different walks of life under different circumstances and seeing how this could benefit them. So, for instance, we've done clinicals on scuba divers and assess the ability of red orange complex to improve their quality of life and decrease the oxidative stress that they encounter. We've looked at its benefits on handball players, so sports nutrition. So we've looked at its benefits on the glutathione levels of these individuals and its effect on the reactive oxygen species in that trial. We've also looked at how it benefits diabetics and also smokers. So these are, just other avenues that we've looked at in terms of benefits of red orange complex supplementation.
Right. It sounds like you looked at people who are dealing with, a lot of free radical activity
Hmm.
in their lives, and just seeing if the red orange complex could help reduce oxidative stress and improve the quality of their life in various capacities, which is what you would hope for with an antioxidant as strong as the red orange complex. Now, in all these studies you've looked at, we talk about benefits, but we also want to make sure that there's no unwanted effects, or if there is, some cautions that we may want to highlight. Have you seen anything with the red orange complex in your research that causes concern?
Not at all. We have not reported any adverse effects in any of the 8 studies. We've never received a complaint from any individual who has supplemented with red orange complex. So it is a safe ingredient to be utilized in daily supplementation of individuals.
Well, Jodi-Ann, we always knock on wood when we make those statements, right? We want that to continue.
No need.
That's great. Is there anything else? I know we've covered a lot, Jodi-Ann. Really appreciate your time here. Is there anything else about the red orange complex you'd like to share?
I just want to do an overview of the benefits of this, as I mentioned, powerhouse ingredient. We have the oxidative stress benefits. We have how it supports skin health during times like the summer here. Its UV benefits, how it supports the skin with healthy aging, and supporting quality of life, and also providing relief of menopausal symptoms. So I just want to touch on that a little bit and give an overview of this amazing ingredient. Just 100 milligrams, this award-winning ingredient.
Now an award-winning ingredient. No,
yes.
Congratulations on that. So
thank you.
No, it's clearly, as we said, free radicals really are one of the principal reasons we age, right? So trying to support our body's protection and the antioxidant defense against those free radicals is key. And as you mentioned, for just 100 milligrams a day from the blend of these 3 Sicilian blood oranges, really can go a long way in accomplishing that. Well, listen, Jodi-Ann, we're really, really excited. And as you mentioned, we include the red orange complex in our true New Grow Plus hair and skin formula. That red orange complex is a powerhouse ingredient. That's part of a powerhouse formula. I'm sure if you had a chance to look at that one yet, Jodi-Ann, I think you have.
Yes, I have.
we have a lot in there. So, we really think it sets a new standard for hair and skin supplements. So we're pretty excited about it, and really excited to have BIONAP participate, not only just the red orange complex, but one of your other ingredients, which we'll have to talk about someday. Right. So,
yes, for sure.
So thank you again very much for joining us today. Really appreciate the working relationship we have with BIONAP and all your colleagues in Sicily. And we hope to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Carl, and thanks for being just a wonderful customer and supporting BIONAP and our amazing ingredients. We look forward to continuing this partnership and continuing to work with you in the future.
Absolutely. So, folks, that's it for this week. I'm Carl Pradelli. I'll see you next week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to see future episodes, and you can also listen to us on your favorite streaming service. We're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This is Carl Pradelli, and I'll see you next week.